Okay, here we go. We're live. Hey, everybody, how are you? Welcome to Spiritually Raw. And as always, thank you so much for your energy exchange with us today. And we hope you woke to the most miracle morning and are having the most fortunate day today. We have incredible fortune upon us today. Bo and Cindy are here from Asea. You know, we've been taking this journey, as many of you have been witnessing. You've been seeing the whole experience and everybody that comes along with that experience. So these two are the pioneers of what we've been really coining as that 5D economy. So what they did is they not only embraced, and they're going to tell their story, I'm sure, much better than I will, but they've not only embraced this Asea, if you would, in their life, made it part of their existence, but they became very abundant by making other people abundant. So this is what it's about. And they're here to share that with us. It's 2022, right? So, you know, this is a really good time for us to start having these conversations. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us. Our link right there will be scrolling. So for those of you who are going to, I'm sure, rush to order your Asea, our link will be right there. You can also text the number for enrollment assistance. We'll help you that way. What am I missing?
Yes, let me give our beautiful guests a proper intro. So we have today Cindy and Boba. We're so excited to have them here today. They are triple diamond executives with Asea. That is quite an accomplishment. And I love this quote by Cindy. I think really this really wraps it all up. Cindy's business advice: treat Asea like a business. You must have a conviction that something as profound as Asea doesn't come across your desk every day. Asea is in a category of all of its own. Once you understand the vision, you'll understand that Asea is going to be huge, and you'll be more worried. You will worry more about what will happen to someone if you don't tell them about Asea than what they will think about you if you do. And I love that quote because it's so poignant. And it really puts it into perspective. And we'll talk about it a little bit later as we move forward. But, you know, for people that get tripped up on the fact that it's multi-level marketing, right? A lot of people get that tripped up in their head, which is why we've coined the term 5D economy for multiple reasons. And especially being in the spiritual genre, right? A lot of people resonate with this Ascension movement, going from a very 3D lifestyle to elevating and raising our vibration, raising our frequency to get to higher levels of ascension so we can create abundance in all aspects of our life. And I think that quote truly puts everything in perspective. And that's why I really wanted to share it. I really love it.
I love it when I read it too. It's just really strong. It's right out there. And that's great. I just love it. So let's get if we can, get to know you.
And a quick hello. Thank you, everybody, for those that are just coming on the street. We welcome each and every one of you.
Thank you for that. So let's get everybody to get to know you here. So people have been watching us take this journey over the last few months, and we've interviewed somebody. And again, it's such a privilege to get to know you. But so many people right now want to kind of get your story about Asea, because we all get bought these different things for us. Proverbial ladies first. Cindy, what attracted you to the fact of like, okay, I'm going to give this a go, more from the personal side initially, and then from there, what said, okay, now, and I got your statement that April read there, but from there, what was the catalyst, and how long did it take from you to go from I'm going to get this and see how I even vibe with this, and then from there, what happened, what triggered, and said, okay, now I got to get this out to the world.
So thank you guys so much for having us on. And yeah, it's interesting because this thing called Asea comes into people's lives in a variety of ways. And the way it came into our life is we had our friends from Montana call us and say, we found something incredible and we want you guys to check it out. And we had worked in network marketing with them before, and we thought, oh, brother, they're at one of those things. They're all excited. And, you know, I'm like, okay, go home, take a cold shower, and we'll see, you know, how you feel in a week or so. You know what I mean? So they sent us some product, and quite frankly, we didn't take it correctly. We weren't even taking this whole thing very seriously. I should say something before I even get into the story, though, because I don't know how the whole thing works out there, but I know that the power of prayer is huge. And I had not worked for 9 months because I'd been so burned with another network marketing company, and I was fried. And I just didn't know if there was really a good something out there that we could really put our mind and our heart and our energy into, that, you know, that was worth it. So I put out a big prayer to the universe, and I said, look, I know everybody on this planet was put here for a reason. And I don't know what my reason is. I don't know what my purpose is. So what am I supposed to do with my life? And the next day, these guys called and told us about Asea. So it came as an answer to prayer, which was really interesting, but I didn't trust it because I was so paranoid about the business model of network marketing. And so what happened was Bo and I put together a list of things that had to line up in order for us to put our time and energy into another network marketing company. And so for the next 6 months or so, we had done well enough in network marketing to be flown all over the country and, you know, checked out different companies from many different angles. And so our eyes were open to what's out there. And most people don't know what's going on in the network marketing world. And some of it's very good and some of it's very bad. And so you really have to find a company that feels really good in your heart, like it's your home. And we didn't feel that. We looked at all these different companies, and there was problems with operations and problems with compensation plans and just problems with the culture. It just didn't feel right. And then we were flown into Asea, and we wanted to know who was running the company, because you can have the best product on the face of the planet, but if it's in the hands of the wrong people, you're in big trouble. And so when we met the people that are behind this project, and we understood how this project came onto the planet, and then we realized that the only way to market this incredible technology was person to person, that it wouldn't work on the radio, it wouldn't work on television, it wouldn't work direct mail. The only way it would work is if somebody genuinely cared enough about another person to share this with them. And if you put, you know, the guy that started this company, the founder, he came from craft worldwide. So he had connections in the grocery store space, in Costco, and it would have been really easy for him to put, you know, blue bottles and white tubes on the shelves and just leverage that network. But the thing is that if you imagine how that would have gone, people would have walked up to this blue bottle, turned it around, saw salt water on the other side, looked at the price tag, put it back on the shelf, and kept going with their shopping. They would have never realized that they had in their hands one of the biggest breakthroughs of our lifetime, because it doesn't look like much in a blue bottle in a white tube.
Right.
So, you know, when you realize that and you think, you know what, this has got to be marketed through word of mouth. It's the only way to do it. And we met the people that were behind this project and how professional they are, the kind of, you know, business acumen they have, and, you know, the team of scientists and researchers and people that could validate this technology. When we saw what they had put in place, we knew how they knew how to run a company. And quite frankly, that's the problem with most network marketing companies, is that the people running the company really don't know how to run a company. And these guys came from Fortune 50. So they know how to run a business. And now they were moving into the network marketing space, which they'd never been in before. But trust me, they're smart people. They'll figure stuff out. But what was really important from day one was their ethos. And when we were looking into this company, we were introduced to a gentleman that had worked with the business for a while and had decided to invest himself and his life into this company. And I asked him why Asea? And he said, Cindy, because it's a P over E company with very high C. And I said, you know, Alan, I'm a private ski instructor. I am not a biochemist. I have no idea what that means, if that's some kind of equation. And he said, no, what that stands for is principles, purpose, and people above ego and economics, and constantly working on our capacity to deliver in the marketplace. That's the philosophy that Asea is based on. So we're encouraged with every decision that we make, and the corporate structure behind this business is encouraged as well. With every decision you make, keep your principles of honesty and integrity, of love and compassion, of empathy. Keep those principles above your drive to earn money or to look good, in front of people, your ego. And I thought, wow, that is an amazing, amazing ethos. And if that's the culture that's going to be created here, we want to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And this is the first time we've heard that side of it. We felt it and we see it, just because the company is so giving and so generous, and they're always just so willing to help, not just the founders and the people that work in the office, but the other representatives like yourself and people that are on our team. They're so willing and loving and literally will drop anything to help us move forward and get the message out. And the two things I do want to share. I can't remember if there was like a corporate meeting not that long ago, and somebody on Facebook was there. Her name was Tammy. She was in tears. She did a quick little video while she was at the corporate. She just left the facility where it's all brewed, let's say, right? And they had told her then that if people are not feeling well, Asea encourages people. They don't, get reprimanded if they go home for the day because they're not feeling well. They say, it's okay, go home and rest and be well, because they don't want that energy being infused in the product, the people that are literally working in that facility. And she was so moved by that. She was literally crying, and she made a video, and I thought that is pretty extraordinary in itself. And then if you can also share that they had the opportunity to be bought out by the pharmaceuticals and did not. Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So the way the company got started is that there was another company prior to this company being called Asea, to being taken over by the current founder and his son. It was headed down a medical path. It was headed down a pharmaceutical path for 17 years. And they spent millions and millions of dollars bumping up against the FDA, trying to get approval for 3 specific drug applications. But they didn't know what they had, and they couldn't identify their, mechanism of action. They couldn't explain why they were getting the results they were getting. And they also couldn't stabilize the molecules. So the FDA kept, pushing them away and saying, you guys don't understand your science, and until you understand your science better, don't bother coming back. And so that company got tired, and that company ended up selling off the intellectual property, the patents, all of the stuff that they'd been working on for 17 years. They merged with an energy company, and they sold off assets. And Virtus Norton, who is the founder of this company, who had been he had been invited to be on the board of the company and to help them get out of their financial situation. And he looked at it, he tried to help them raise money, but it was just too difficult. He was in his late 70s at the time. And he just, he said, it's not going to be something that I'm going to be a part of. But he kept an eye on the company. And he'd also been using the product and had some personal experience of his mind clearing up. Excuse me.
That's okay.
His mind clearing up, and he's able to think better. He had more energy. He just felt better overall. So he knew they were onto something, and he wanted to know more of what exactly they were onto. So when that company ended up selling off assets, Virtus said, I'm going to put an investment team together, and I'm going to buy this company. I'm going to take a run at the company. And so he did. And he ended up buying all the patents, all the assets, everything. He put together a team of scientists run by an atomic medical physicist, and they were able to stabilize the molecules, that's the quantum physics part of this. Replicating the molecules that we make in the salt water of our cells is one thing. I mean, that's an incredible breakthrough. But being able to stabilize these very bioactive molecules is it's like capturing a spark. How do you do that, right? But they were able to do it. So they stabilized the molecules. They identified their mechanism of action, that they had actually created redox signaling molecules, which are the molecules created in the salt water of our cells on a regular basis. And it's happening right now in every living thing on the planet, whether it's a plant or an animal or a human. And if it wasn't happening in that living thing, they'd be dead. And
Right.
and so we're actually recreating this life force that, you know, keeps people alive and healthy. So they were able to replicate the molecules, identify the mechanism of action, stabilize the molecules, and now they were ready to figure out distribution channels. And they wanted to make sure people would drink it, because now it was available in a bottle, and it was available. Well, at that time, it wasn't available in a tube. It took them 5 years to actually come up with the gel. But it was available so that the average person could drink this stuff. They could, you know, and so now they were figuring we got to but people have to drink it. Otherwise it doesn't work. You can't just have it in your house. You have to actually drink it. So, and it tastes a little bit like swimming pool water.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave it to 40 friends and family, neighbors, and, you know, people that just were around them, and they didn't charge them for it. They gave them as much as they wanted. And they just said, you know, just give us some feedback on this, you know, let us know how it makes you feel. And within 2 months, they had 135 people in 20 countries asking for more. And so they got their answer, and they said, okay, so people like this, and they tell their friends about it, even though that wasn't part of the deal. They didn't ask them to tell anybody about it. But people naturally felt obligated to share this technology with other people because they were getting benefit. So why wouldn't they want other people to get benefit? So that's when the pharmaceutical company flew in. They looked over all of the, you know, patents, the medical research that we can't use because we're not a medical company. And they said, we're prepared to write you a big fat check. Very impressed with what you have. But here's how it works. If you take the check, everybody that's on the product has to come off the product. And Virtus said, now, wait a minute. We've got people that they're finally getting better. They were in dire straits with no hope. And now they're feeling better. They're starting to feel better. We can't yank this product away from them. And he said, how many people? You know, he said there's a small group of people. And I'm thinking specifically about 8 people with names and faces and personalities. We're connected to these people. We can't yank it away from, I'm thinking specifically about these 8 people. And he said, 8 people? Do you see the size of this check? And he said, you know, I know it's only 8 people to you, but it's 8 people to me. And so right there, the energy, the basis for this whole company shifted from strictly a business play to a humanitarian responsibility. And they turned down this gigantic check from the pharmaceutical company, and they went to the golf course, and they were playing with a foursome. And one of the guys on the foursome was from a network marketing company, and he'd been listening to their molecular conversations over their, you know, rounds of golf over the past months or whatever. And he said, how are you going to market these molecules anyway? And he said, this would be a perfect product for network marketing. And Virtus said, network marketing, that's not a very professional distribution method. And he said, what, have you been living under a rock? The internet changed all that. You go and do a proper due diligence on the business model of network marketing, and tell me what you think. And so Virtus did that. And he was so impressed by what he learned and how the actual business model works. It's run properly, that he said, that's it. Let's start a network marketing company. So here's this gentleman in his late 70s who has never been involved in network marketing before, starting a network marketing company to market a saltwater product from Salt Lake City, you know, in one of the worst financial times of history. And but you know what? He wanted to leave the world a better place. This was his legacy company. This was not a business move. I mean, he'd been retired several times. So there was this was what he wanted to leave the world before he left the planet. So that's a little bit of how the company got started.
So, Bo, I want to ask you
Amazing.
this. So when you think in terms of there's people watching here, and then there'll be continue to people that'll watch this after the fact, you know, we feel our challenge, if you would, as we talk about this, is to break again that stigma of network marketing. Cindy, you eloquently drive it home, and you say it with conviction. You say it, you're proud of it. Nothing there. You don't stutter through the words. I mean, this is strong. This is great. I often think, Bo, and I want to get your opinion on this. Don't you think that every sane person in the world wouldn't want a scenario like this, where you were in a business and that would make you abundant by helping other people become abundant? And do you think the stigma behind it comes from the fact of maybe the delivery was off? Do you think everybody really inherently wants to be, if they're in their working accumulation years, do you think they inherently really want to be, from your experience being at the top of the game in this, that they want to be in network marketing? They're just maybe afraid to admit it. And if they are, what do you think that you would recommend to people to just help kind of get to that next place again with it?
Again, thanks for having us on board. Appreciate it, and good to see you this morning. I tell you, the real answer to that is multifaceted, but the first part of it is that people don't know what they don't know.
True.
Okay. And when it comes to network marketing, there are good network marketing companies. There are bad network marketing companies. There are good retailers. There are bad retailers. But people have just dealt with some, I won't say unscrupulous, but that's kind of a term, of network marketers. People that see the, let's say, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, instead of helping people to realize the beauty of the colors in the rainbow. Does that make sense? And so what we see is people, when either they're getting an experience from the technology itself, and they're all of a sudden realizing, who am I not to share this with the world? How can I keep this away from people? Or they're seeing the opportunity that you're talking about. Cindy and I saw the opportunity of starting to build a plan B. We had both been in a situation where we had been building other people's assets, other people's dreams. The last business that I was in, I was a project manager. Excuse me. I was working about an hour and a half from our house here, going over mountain passes every day. But I was building a replica 1860s Western town to museum grade for a billionaire. And if you want to talk about building someone else's assets and someone else's dreams, that was me all the way. And we finally were just like, this is not it. We're too smart. It's time to get involved with something else. We were looking for a plan B, and this came along. And I don't see anything else that's more genuine out in the world, where you can invest as little in terms of income, in terms of capital, and get out what you can get out of this industry and this business. When you think about it, people would, if they worked on network marketing, if they worked in Asea, as hard as they would if they bought a McDonald's franchise for $250 million or $1 million, they would be unbelievably successful. So the beauty of network marketing is that it takes very little capital to get in. The challenge of network marketing is that it takes very little capital to get in, because all of a sudden people are like, hey, it was $40, right? They're not building it like a business. They're not treating it like a business or an asset that's going to build them through the rest of their lives. The other part of our story there, as far as me working in that town, building that town, is that Cindy was hell-bent determined to be my knight in shining armor and get me off of that road, because I would be calling her at the end of the day and saying, hey, Cindy, everything's okay, but there's a mudslide. I'm going back and sleeping on the floor of the trailer tonight. Everything's okay, but there's been a huge rock slide, and I'm going back and sleeping in the trailer, things like that. And Cindy was just like, I got to get him off this road. And so she was working on this while I was working on our money for now. She was working on our money for the future. And here's something that people need to keep in mind is we reached our goal, our numbers goal. And Cindy said, all right, you said you'd quit and come with me. And I said, yeah, but I'll just work till the end of the year and, pay off some other debts we have. And the very next month, we went on a family vacation to an old family compound in northern Michigan. And I had a virus. I contracted a virus in my inner ear canal and ended up just in a very, very compromised situation. I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital long enough. We ended up having to send our kids back because they had to go back to school. And we stayed for a while and then came home. But the bottom line was, I looked at Sydney, I said, I can't go back to work. I mean, I was getting up at 4 a.m, coming home at 8:30 at night. We had no social life whatsoever. And I'm sitting there building someone else's asset. And we looked at each other and we said, thank God we started working on our plan B before we needed our plan B.
Thank God.
Great.
Our kids would have been, we would have had to take our kids out of college. Wow. We live in a pretty affluent area in the United States near Aspen, Colorado. We definitely would have lost our home if we didn't have something else. And I tell you what, during that entire period and other situations that have happened, the check came every Friday. And it came because we have people all around the world that are using this technology and realizing how amazing it is, and they're sharing it with other people. People who have experiences with this technology and this product find a responsibility to share it with other people because they're just amazed at zero toxicity, works on 100% of the people 100% of the time within 6 hours, shown with 43 different blood markers. That doesn't just happen. And, 100% native to the body. Blueberries are natural. This is native, right?
Right.
Very, very intuitive. Your body's able to respond intuitively. And that is something that just doesn't happen. And like you were saying, Jay, why wouldn't everybody in the world want to be part of something like this? I mean, if you had the only gas station in the state, you think people would be coming to it? And that's how we are in the world right now. And that's how it's been for the 17 years of the previous company and the 13 years of this company. So for 3 decades, we've been unchallenged in terms of, replicating this technology. It's super exciting.
It's interesting that you talk about the responsibility, because that's how we approached it. And
I was just about to say,
we came in with a whole, there's no way.
We had no agenda.
There's no way we're going to do anything like this again.
Anything like this to our platform. It was just the first. We'll try it for ourselves, fine. And I told Jay right from the beginning, listen, I'll try it because you're making me try it. I had tried so many other things. So really just to because he was on me about trying, and I was like, I'm not interested in trying anything else. Really, I don't want to try anything else. But he kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally I caved. And then when I caved, before I caved, I said, okay, I'll go along with you with this under one condition. No way in hell are we bringing this onto our platform. He's like, fine, just to keep me like. And then we were on it personally for 3 months, maybe 3.5 months. And we decided, because we knew we'd stopped everything else that we were taking, all the other supplements, because we were taking a lot of stuff. And we went off all the other supplements for 1 week because we needed to make sure, why are we feeling this incredible? Where is this feeling coming from? Why am I having better sleep, better runs, no discomfort, no this, no that, right? So we needed to make sure that everything was coming from the Asea. And when we realized that after a week of going off everything else, we said, we have to bring it into the public arena. We have a responsibility to share this information and bring this knowledge to our platform so we can share and help others feel as great as we are feeling. Like, we felt selfish to not share this with others when we were feeling so phenomenal. Like
your statement read, Cindy, like how you wrote so well there. And it really became, we started talking about it, talking through it with people. And it just was like, I know someone on here was talking about that they enrolled on 11/11, and it's such a spiritual thing. It's like, we on our show call it the elixir of the gods, right? Mm-hmm. And and it's interesting. It's like people are like, hey, I want to get the elixir of the gods.
That's what they call it.
And because we really believe it's come from something divine, influence, someone here on this planet, I guess, to give this to us. But what's interesting from the network marketing space, and I just want to kind of get everybody watching this today, is that for those of you who have been, which is pretty much everybody, I'm sure, watching it, into these, I've never seen anything where people have tried a product and the most unassuming people in the world are calling us all day long. Hey, do I get a link? Can I refer this to somebody? How do I do this? I want to get this. There's people just coming out on their own, You know, once someone tries this, which has been pretty amazing. I mean, it's just well, you know, I mean, you guys have been doing it so long, but it's like it turns on the lights, right? And everything's there again. It's like you find these better and newer versions of you, which is what my personal experience. I see more and more people getting that. We've interviewed people on the what's called this med technology, or within the you know, for the last couple of years, about how this somehow, some way, there'll be this technology that'll age reverse everybody. Everybody will feel young again. Everybody will feel light again. Everybody will feel like a true spiritual being. And it just happened to show up in a blue bottle at this moment. And so we've been taking it, and people are really getting a run with that. I mean, I feel like I don't know, Cindy, what do you think about this? When you think about it in terms of like, okay, we're sitting on a breakthrough. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, you wrap your head around that. Like, we are experiencing a breakthrough right now that, you know, Bo was saying, like, there's no other gas station in town. You know, is it? You know, how do you wrap your head around that part of it? I mean, you know, initially when you knew that, hey, this is it. This is a lifetime breakthrough. We may never see anything like this in our life.
Well, you know, you said something interesting. You said it turns the lights on. And what we've had light bulbs, if you want to use that analogy, we've had all these light bulbs, and people are, you know, taking vitamins and getting exercise and sleeping well and, you know, doing all those things that we've been told for years and years and years that are important to do. But we've never had the electricity. And Asea is the electricity. And so when you have all the stuff that's good for you, but you add the electricity and the light bulbs go on, all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's a missing link. There's been a missing link for all these years that we're doing all these things that we think are good for us and that are good for us, that help us thrive. But without this electricity that turns the light bulbs on, we just aren't at the ability to do the same thing that we could with this incredible technology. And it doesn't, I mean, you can dive into the science and you can get buried into the science, because there are universities opening wings to study redox biology. You know, the National Institutes of Health is giving all kinds of grants, you know, millions and millions of dollars in grants to Cornell and Harvard and University of South Carolina, University of Lincoln and Nebraska. I mean, you can look it up, you know, look up NIH grants for, you know, look up redox biology wings. I mean, they're doing conferences in Paris to talk about redox biology. And the only company that has a product that has captured this understanding is Asea. I mean, so, but the other thing I want to say is that Bo and I didn't start taking Asea because we were sick. We didn't start taking Asea because we had some grand problem that we were trying to solve. We started taking Asea because we didn't want to be sick people. We've seen sick people, and we are, you know, we proactively take care of ourselves so we don't end up in the sick category. We do everything we can possibly do so we don't get sick in the first place. And, you know, this atomic, you know, if you believe that your body is the ultimate healing machine, I mean, if you don't believe that, then this probably isn't for you, because, you know, if you believe that your body is the ultimate healing machine, then the question becomes, why would the ultimate healing machine allow unhealthy cells to replicate? And the answer is because it's not getting the message or the signal that those cells are in fact unhealthy. And so when you start taking these molecules and your cellular communication is improved, the body starts to get information about which cells are healthy and which cells are unhealthy. And then the body will protect the healthy cells and make an attempt to repair the unhealthy cells. And if those unhealthy cells can't be repaired, then those cells are killed off and replaced with healthy cells. So if you think about that if that process is happening effectively and efficiently, you don't have health problems. I mean, that's why people start to return to health or amplify their health or whatever. And the other thing that's so profound about this technology, because you start talking about it and you're like, it sounds way too good to be true. It's like the fountain of youth or something. I mean, what is this? But the reason everybody's biochemistry is different. Everybody is a specific individual with, you know, very specific individual cellular imbalances. So my story when I drink Asea is going to be completely different than somebody else's story when they drink Asea, because my cellular imbalance is different than their cellular imbalance. So I might notice differences in my brain cells. They might notice differences in their heart cells or their, you know, their skin cells or their liver cells. And there's a lot going on way down deep in the body that we have no idea about.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things you can't feel. I remember when I reached out to this guy who had a platelet count problem. And he said, this guy wants to stick this 7-inch needle into my pelvis and, keeps telling me to get my, he tests my bone marrow and he wants me to get my platelet count up. And, I said, why don't you try this Asea? Just drink this Asea. It's a shot, but it doesn't come in a needle. It comes in a little cup and you just drink a shot of
That's
Asea.
the point. Right.
So just drink this shot 30 days, 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces later in the day, on every single day. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you can feel platelet counts changing. So what I would do is I'd go into your doctor, I'd get a blood test, and then I'd drink this stuff for 30 days and I'd go back and get another blood test and see how you're doing. And so he did that, and he kept calling me saying, I don't think this stuff is working. I'm not feeling anything. I'm like, well, just keep doing it. Keep doing it. He went in at the end of the 30 days to his doctor, and his platelet count for the first time in 5 years was back in the normal range. But it wasn't something he could feel. And we hear that with cholesterol. We hear that with, different things that are mending themselves inside the body, but it's happening at a cellular level. And so it can be very subtle that these changes are being made. It's not something that's obvious a lot of the time. And so, if healing is a process, it's not an event. And so taking this on a regular basis, it elevates your overall wellness and it works on all your cells in your body. We're so used to targeting this area or that area, taking this for that and that for this. And this is working on all of our cells, trillions and trillions and trillions of cells. So it's a whole new category, and people try to put Asea into a category that they're familiar with, and there is no category.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. What are you thinking, Bo, when you take a look at the people right now? Because again, you two have epitomized the network marketing,
The 5D
business,
economy.
the 5D economy, whatever. What do you say to people that are right there? Like, what would you say to people right now that they know what they need? I mean, people are, I think, smart enough to know, like, hey, I got to make a change. What do you say to them that you think could help them get out of their own way for a minute to take a look at, helping people, help people, if you would, to get a better existence for their life? What would you say to them?
Well, I think you just said, I think probably your viewers definitely know they got to do something. But I tell you what, if you ask the majority of people and ask them who's responsible for their health and wellness, their answer is their doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And the environment we're in the world today, if we want to stay healthy longer, et cetera, we need to start taking responsibility for our own health and wellness, right? And that's what Asea allows people to do. And with the power of that, what you can share with people is that they can, it's not always that you're living longer. What I'm going to say is that as long as you live, you're going to live a better quality of life,
Mm-hmm.
a more healthy quality of life. You talk about not having the aches and pains, having good runs, things like that. How much nicer is it to go for a run and not have the aches and pains and to go on with your day and have a better experience throughout the rest of your day as well, right? So when you say, rephrase that again, Jay. I apologize. I probably didn't answer your question correctly.
It's all good. We're, really what I wanted to kind of get at is like, what do you recommend or say to those people that are watching? Because there's people tuning in here for a reason about like why they need to consider, really taking a look at like a plan B, because most people just get in their way. What would you say to them as a couple that have epitomized that success to break out of their own way, get it out of their own head for a minute, to really start to take a look at not only helping themselves, but help the ones that need them the most?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that it is about helping themselves, number one. And it's also the fact that, hey, this is an opportunity you have to get involved with something that you don't have to leave your business. You don't have to leave your job or, whatever it is that you're making income at right now. You don't have to do that to try this out. You don't have to do that to help other people. Because I can tell you, for me, as I suggested earlier, building someone else's dreams and someone else's assets as opposed to my own was very disturbing. And helping people to realize what their dreams and assets are and how much better their life would be, just more fulfilling, right? More satisfying if they were able to be working on helping other people, helping themselves to help other people. This provides a tremendous opportunity that way. For every single penny that we earn, we've helped somebody. Whether it be, and we have thousands and thousands of people in our organization. So it's not necessarily we've helped them personally, but we were just a link in the chain of the information so that more people could take advantage of this God-given talent or technology.
You know, I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. If you had to boil it all down, if you just let that one phrase sink in, you're creating and building someone else's dream other than your own. That is mentally exhausting. It's physically exhausting, and it doesn't give you the security. It's like a false sense of security, because as you're building this other person's dream, they can literally pull the carpet out from beneath your feet when you least expect it. And their dream is still going to continue because they have other people other than you continually building their dream so that they never get the carpet pulled out. You have to have a plan B in place. No one is saying drop what you're doing. That's the last thing in the world we're saying. What we're saying is it's time now, especially with everything going on. I mean, look at the economy. Who knows what's happening? We're in the most disruptive time right now. You need, at the very minimum, a plan B. We like to have a plan A, B, C, D, and E. But at the very minimum, you need a plan B and start building your own dream. Start living your life the way you want it. Start creating everything that you're working so hard for someone else. Put the time into your own life and your own family, and your whole world will begin to shift.
You know what I love about it is that it just actually, it's hard to, from the concept of attracting into your world, into your universe, it's it's all about attract, it's like vibrating at a high level, right? You know what I mean? You vibrate high. So this Asea, I noticed that the people I talk to, myself, you're always at a high vibration. So I think if people subscribe to the fact, this law of attraction, if you would, if that really is a thing, or manifesting or praying or whatever that is, or just feeling of love or whatever that is for you, or God or whatever that is for you, when you're attracting at that level, if there's anything real to that, that's going to attract the goodness in your life. I personally am seeing, not only in my own life, thanks to people like you who have really, like said, been, started in the chain and getting us in the link of the chain, we would have never known if it wasn't how this link of the chain goes along. But I'm personally meeting people over a very short, indirectly coming in and talking about, Cindy, and maybe you could speak on this for a second, is that how it's just attracting more abundance in their life. Maybe it's Asea, maybe it's their other businesses, maybe it's whatever they have, but it's just because of their shift in their psyche, or something attracts things. And there's an unexplainable overall, I guess, by using Asea. I mean, I'll just say it like this, it's money. It creates wealth for people. I see it. I mean, people just, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Cindy?
Yeah. If you follow people's journey, like, there's a woman in Utah that was in the right place at the right time and found out about Asea early in the days. And she wanted to work with a company who really valued the people. So it was, the corporation behind the movement had to really care about the people that was helping them get the message to the marketplace. And she found that with Asea. And then she reached out to a guy whose dad was really, really sick and, was looking for a health answer. And so when he looked at he wasn't going to just give his dad anything. And so when he looked into the science of this, he thought, oh my gosh, he's been in health and wellness for a long, long time. He'd never seen anything this big and this different. So he thought, oh my gosh, okay, I want to get involved, because the entrepreneurial spirit in him woke up. And then he reached out to a girl who really wanted to create, be the Mother Teresa of the world and help people all over the world. And then she reached out to a person who saw, you know, that she could really leave her mark on the planet by, you know, working with these other people. And then she reached out to these people who had credit card debt up the wazoo, and were looking for a financial answer to their problems because they had creditors calling them from all over the place, because with the way they were used to earn money, the world has changed and it wasn't working anymore. So they had to adapt to this new world that they were living in. And they called us. I mean, we were in a situation where I had to get Bo off that road, you know. So you can follow this trail of blessing, if you will, from one person to another, to another, to another. And every person has a different situation in their life that they're trying to solve. And the answer is Asea. So the answer can be Asea. I'm sure there's other answers out there, but for the people that we've been working with in Asea, it has been such a blessing financially and physically and spiritually. I mean, there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that feel morally obligated to share this company and this technology with other people. And so because you're part of the ripple effect, the more you encourage that ripple effect to grow, you're getting compensated for the volume that goes through your network. And you're not physically having to be there. As your business takes on a life of its own and it spreads to Singapore and Malaysia and, you know, Ohio and Tennessee and California, Canada, you know, Australia, New Zealand, it's not because you're necessarily doing anything. It's because these people get the vision and they feel obligated to share. And then when those people get the vision, they feel obligated to share. And then those people get the vision and they feel obligated to share. So this, because of the product, because of the ethos, because of the timing, because of the breakthrough, for so many different reasons, people want to be a part of this. And not because we're trying to sell them something or convince them about something. They feel it. They see how big this is and they want to be a part of it. And so then their business, your business, takes on a life of its own, and it's going on with you or without you. Bo and I couldn't stop this business if we tried. It's a living entity that's spreading all over the world on a daily basis, with or without us. And there's power in that, because most people come from an employee mentality or a self-employed mentality where they have to physically be there to earn money. And like you said, it's exhausting. It can be exhausting. It's, you know, you might love what you do, but after a while you're like, man, I would just like to be able to take a month off, go do something that I'd really like to do and have the money still come in.
So, you know, Cindy, if I could add one thing that's even more important is, although the team that's built, the movement of this word going across the universe, going across the world, is what it does is it actually manifests itself in terms of money, in terms of abundance. But where the abundance really comes is in the time freedom. And I'm not talking about just like, you know, having time to go for a run or anything. We have people that have their mothers, you know, their parents were coming down with end of life crises, and they're able to take 3 and 9 months off to spend the last days with their family members, with their loved ones. It gives me chills. It fills me, you know, wells me up just to think about it. The amount of people that we have in our team in this company who have been able to take time off like that, which you're not able to do when you're working for someone else. That person has their hand on the faucet of your cash flow, right? They're only allowing you your 14 days a year. You know, work 51 days to get 14 days off. It's crazy. And I think people have to take that in mind when they're looking at this opportunity as well. And if it's a plan B, great. It's a plan B so that they can help their family or their loved ones when it's necessary. I just wanted to add that because I think it's super important.
It is super duper important. Yes. And I love what you said. It is literally a living energy. When we're creating all of this abundance, we're teaching and sharing and showing others how to create all this abundance, that literally becomes like a literal energy force, a live energy force. And I think, or we think really, that Asea epitomizes everything in terms of mind, body, spirit, prosperity. It is the whole enchilada in one product. I don't know really pretty much anything else that I could say. Well, maybe some might be check, but this is check, and check, right? So it covers the whole gamut. And we feel so blessed that this has come to our plate. It's and at the timing of it, the timing is perfect because you can't put a price tag on two things. You can't put a price tag on your health, and you can't put a price tag on time left in someone that you love's life, like you're just explaining. And all of us are in this similar age bracket where our parents, mine have already left, but a lot of us are still have parents that are in an older age bracket, and time is of the essence for them. And when you're working literally around the clock and you're seeing people that you love day by day, their life is getting shorter and shorter, and your heart is breaking because you know there's going to be a time in a not so distant future that you're not going to see them anymore. And you feel like there's no time. There's just not enough time. And having a plan B or having this help give you that extra income, the extra peace of mind, and that extra freedom to be able to do the things you want and spend the time with people that you love the most, that are of most value to you.
You know, there's going to be people again, you know, and I just always say about, you know, look, we're in a very different time right now, 2022. It's time to pull up your big boy pants and big girl pants, step up, get out of your own way. There's great, amazing solutions out here. This is a spiritual experience. This has been a very spiritual experience for me to go through Asea. I mean, not a linear experience of like, okay, making money and, you know, that's good and all that stuff. But this has been a real spiritual experience. You're meeting soul sisters and brothers. We're getting the privilege to meet and talk with you to learn your journey in life. That's helping us in our journey in life. So thank you both for that so much. And I really hope that everybody gets that. You know, I don't think it's not about the whole network marketing thing, because I think inherently, I think the first step is to, you know, admit you want it. You know what I mean? And be okay with the fact that it's okay to prosper, to be able to help other people become abundant, be proud of it, lead the way, be a way shower on that. Again, do the amazing things. I mean, everybody looks out there and they say, well, you know, I would like that. Well, go out and get that. You know what I mean? Just take those steps, create that. I mean, it's
take the steps to start,
you know, just go out and get it. You know, make more money, do it. I mean, there's ways out there. There's no reasons anymore. Time is now. I personally think so. We are such a big advocate of Asea. We understand that there's other things out there because of the culture, the support system. You know, having people like Bo and Cindy that just don't even need to be here with us today, but take the time to be here with us today. You know, to say, hey, look, you know, wake up. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know, y'all can get there. And you know, and thank you again for that. And I do hope everybody does reach out. Our links are in the description below. Contact information is in the description below. We are happy to help.
Go to the website first.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Just let's take a quick second here. For those of you that are saying, you know what, it's just touching my heart now. I'm ready to either start trying it myself, or maybe you want to, you know, someone that you love and care about that needs this. Call Jay. His phone number is right there on the ticker. Let us help you navigate through the website and make sure that you are purchasing what you need for to your situation, because you don't want to buy retail. Whatever you do, don't go to the website, because you're going to end up paying retail, probably because you have a little difficulty navigating it. We can show you how to not buy it retail and save a lot of money along the way. So if you're thinking about this is the time, you're ready now, make sure to call Jay. The link is scrolling and it's also in the show description. And by the way, Bo and Cindy Bucks, their Facebook page, if you'd love to connect with them, and I highly suggest that you do, their Facebook page is also, the link is in the show description as well.
And remember, you're not buying a product, you're enrolling in an experience, which will be the experience of your life.
A spiritual, look at it this way, you're enrolling in the spiritual experience of a lifetime.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So Cindy and Bo, thank you, and God bless you both. Thank you very much
so
for your time
much.
today. Thank you for sharing your aspect of life with us to help us in our journey in life. And thanks everybody for hanging out with us. And we hope this brought you as much value as it did for us. See you next time.
Thank you so much. And together with Bo and Cindy's help, we are turning the universal key to global harmony and creating a unified world. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, tune in often, tell all your friends, and most importantly, may all your beautiful dreams come true. Many blessings.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Thank you.